Everything now is off the list except the kickdown switch, which it's secondary, tertiary to what we're doing today. Let's fire this thing up. You'll have to watch to the end to see how far we get.
Yeah, I'm ready for you to turn the master power switch on and we'll record it and go.
All right, power's going on.
All right, I got power in the cab.
We're hot.
Let me walk you around and show you the setup. First, fire extinguisher 1, fire extinguisher 2. We've got our timing light. We have a vacuum gauge hooked up directly to the manifold, and we got extra transmission fluid laying right there. So when this thing cranks over, first thing we're going to try and do is lock down the timing, and then we will make sure the transmission has enough fluid in it. We're also going to be checking for our fuel pressure and making sure that's correct, and then we'll do some adjustments around the carb, and then it should be idling pretty smooth if I've hooked everything else up right. Let's see if it goes to plan. We'll find out. Now, if you think I'm going to be doing this alone, Technician Troy is on his way. He's making another guest appearance.
Well, cameras are going. I guess we're gonna make progress here, right?
Let me turn this thing.
Always with you. We're hot. That's got a lot of oomph combined.
Dude, I didn't do anything.
It is blowing a fireball. I'm not kidding. You gotta do it. I gotta see it. Hang on. You gotta fire it off again. You have to.
Okay.
Hang on. All right, go. Give it some throttle, just a little.
We gotta do some timing.
Yep. Yep.
Kick that one way or the other. It's loose, so you should be able to turn it.
Try it again.
Other way.
Go the opposite direction.
It went the wrong direction.
Try it again. Ain't like it.
We'll get that timing right yet.
We got a leak.
What leak?
Fuel.
You got a fuel leak?
Yep.
Where from?
Where's the fire extinguisher? There it is.
They're both right next to me.
Yeah.
No, we got multiple.
It's-
By the way, if anything starts to go wrong, it doesn't matter who it is. There's an emergency switch right here.
Yep.
Kill it.
I will not be mad if any of y'all do that. You see something, don't worry about it.
Does that kill
That
the
kills,
engine?
That kills the entire truck.
Okay.
Just turn it to
If
95.
it's running, it kills everything.
Yeah, it kills everything.
95.
Yeah.
11.
Yeah, everything on that truck runs through that.
Okay.
And I mean,
Ignition.
that's ignition,
Oh.
everything. Nothing
Yeah.
stays on.
Cool.
That's not stock, is it?
No. Full blown race car
About this
stuff.
truck is stock.
I think the
The cab's close.
Yeah.
Frame's not stock anymore. he put a stipple
All right.
in. This fitting right here
Yeah,
into the
yeah.
regulator.
Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, it's soaked.
Yeah, and it's pouring, yeah, because it looks like it's coming down this way too and running across. So what's leaking on the front?
I didn't see anything really on the front. We got an info list.
If it's that bad, yeah. I mean, this squirter was just pouring it down, bud.
Yeah, I think we were pushing past, the pump was pushing past the needle and seats. So we might adjust the floats really quick. Because now I see the float holes right now are full.
Okay.
You can see the float bowls?
Yeah, there's little windows over on this side.
There's windows on this
That
side.
was loose, wasn't it?
This one appears to be possibly full. I
No,
couldn't
it's
see
not.
it.
It's at the bottom of the window.
It is at the bottom of the window? Okay, I couldn't
Yeah.
tell from the front, so.
Well, when you rocked it, I could see it.
All right.
That's it during the daytime.
That's right.
Yeah, and then we'll adjust the floats and the needle in the seat. Needle and
Put the
seat are right
camera
here.
on it.
Right
Let's
here.
rock it again so they can see it. Let's rock it again. See the fuel there?
So that one's at the bottom of the window, Chris.
We'll leave that one where it is.
Yeah, that one is halfway full, and that's after it was dumping out of this guy. So
Yeah. And I think that right there would have.
Watch this squirter, and then watch the fuel was coming out of this shaft, and then it was coming from around here too. So there's a possibility that it may be leaking somewhere on this pole.
Yeah, I tightened them up just to see what it would do.
All right.
Keep an eye on that fuel gauge too.
Yeah.
All right.
Everybody clear?
I'm clear.
All right, I'm not gonna give it gas. You can turn her over. Ready?
Ready? Okay, sit back first. Don't put your hand up there. Underneath the reg.
I think you're gonna have to take that off
Right.
and seal it back up.
If something goes
that
wrong, I can
angle.
call him
Yeah.
rather than go to my plant
Is it the
manager.
90 leaking probably?
Yeah, I think it is.
Straight to the.
Now
I'm not
it did
gonna-
leak.
it's not like a prestige-
It felt to me. I saw a grip back here someplace, like right in this
Right
area.
here.
So maybe that's it. So maybe you need to tighten that one up again.
We'll tighten those up
And
again.
try that first.
I'd take the whole thing off, seal all of them.
So once I
Yeah,
get to the
it's a lot harder.
it's a lot harder to take it all off.
Yeah, because you got to take the whole carb off of it.
It's a lot easier than it is to
True.
repair the fire damage.
That is very true.
And as much effort as he has put into this fine truck, it would be criminal not to finish it right.
All right, so
Chris, you've done a beautiful job on this thing.
Thank you. Really good.
okay, this is gonna be quite fuel. So there's that one.
How's your day been going, buddy?
It's been shit, but this is okay.
I heard it running when we.
This is a different problem. This is not a bad problem to have.
What I'm doing right here is I'm taking the carburetor completely off the motor, undoing all the fuel fittings. We go over every one of them. We really make sure that they are snug, they're tight, they're sealed. Any of the NPT threads are sealed up. And I appreciate the tinkers coming out and wrenching with us, hanging out while we were recording, and working on this while we were trying to chase down all these fuel leaks. It was fun.
Good. Go for it.
Hang on just a second. Crank. Okay, wait.
Just holler at me, let me know.
Alright.
Good? Crank. Here it goes. Alright, crank it one more time.
I like how this thing lights off. Right now, I'm kind of holding the throttle open with my hand. Troy's taking the system check around. We're going to adjust the timing a little bit. We're going to try and get it locked in at about 14 degrees. It's not quite right here in the idle. It's a little bit off, but it's not bad. We're very happy it's a lock. Starting to get some heat in the motor at this point. Verifying what we're doing with the timing. Making little incremental changes to just try and dial it in. And now we're happy because it's idling by itself. Start to make some more fine adjustments. Troy notices a fuel leak. We cut the power immediately. And because it's so late,
Okay, we're
time
done.
to push it in the garage.
Ready?
Sure.
Clean. Clean.
There you go.
Put it up against the wall like an inch away from you. Keep going, keep going. Beep, 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 beep.
We're back in the garage. Why? Well, it got dark and I wanted to respect my neighbors. I got some great neighbors and they were cheering us on. They loved the sound of the exhaust and this thing running. We're having a lot of fuel come out of these two annular discharge nozzles back here in the carburetor, which means the float level in the back needs to be adjusted. I want to pull those apart and check with that because I did adjust them and then it's still flooded. So we'll inspect that. I want to pull the valve cover off on this side, make sure there's oil in the bottom. And I want to pull a couple spark plugs out and check what they look like, just because, you know, we fired this up. Let's do our system checks and make sure we're all copacetic. So we'll get at it. All right, first glance, good things that I can see. We've got oil in here. The oil right now is blue because it's the break-in oil. I don't see any coolant. That's a good sign. And everything looks like it's supposed to be in the right place. There's no metal shavings or dirt, debris, or anything like that laying in here. So I'm very happy with this. Between you and me, audience, in the process of removing this, I did lose a washer. And it was an ARP washer, so I'll go crawl along the frame and find it. But I don't need to take y'all for that ride.
Little sooty. Smells like gasoline. Not terrible. Make a strike test. Hold that for me. There we go. Alright, timing mark's about the same spot. Don't fall down. Don't fall. Sorry about that.
So before it got too dark the other night, we noticed that this thing was pouring fuel out of these discharge nozzles because the fuel level in this back bowl was way too high. And there's little windows on the side, you can see what the level's at, and this one is full. So to correct that, what I need to do is adjust the needle and seat. So how they work is this guy lives in here. Let's see if we can do this correctly. Fuel goes in here. This is where the needle and seat is. And as this goes up, it closes the valve, and as it falls down, it opens the valve. And that's how it maintains the level inside of here, so your jets have plenty of fuel and your power valve have plenty of fuel. These need to be under fuel, but you don't want the entire area full of fuel because, you know, it don't work. It'll flood out and come out the vents like it's doing. So I am gonna adjust the valve on the one on the truck by turning this bolt. It's not a bolt, it's actually just lives on the top of this thing, and as it goes up and down, it changes the level, and then the screw on top locks it in place. So you adjust it by turning the entire assembly, and then when you like it, you lock it down. I gotta figure out where it needs to be. I'm not a carb whisperer, I'm a carb messer, which means I mess with the things on the carb, and it does things, and then I try and make them not as messy. So that's what I'm gonna go do. Come on.
Alright, we got the fuel bowl off the back because we're going to try and find out why this thing is just absolutely flooding. I'm going to take those couple of screws out, see what's underneath, make sure that needle's coming down and it's not stuck somewhere. We will find this out because it's so close. Okay. See how this changes the level of where it sits? Alright, that should be... Alright. Got plenty of spring action. So, this is the little lever that pushes up inside of there on that as it goes up and down. It doesn't appear broken, the spring is intact. It's got notches cut out of the back because it's got what are called jet extensions. These push the jets out further back, so when you accelerate and the fuel sloshes to the back, this keeps these in the fuel so you don't have a lean spot. Jet extensions are pretty cool. They work real well too. Alright, let me see about taking this guy completely out reinstalling the float. Don't tear up the gasket. Let's see what happens here. But yeah, this is what basically a rear float bowl with no accelerator pump looks like on the inside. You may have noticed that I took this thing off the truck because it's a lot easier to work on. This is very much kind of a use the force adventure. I am not super snug in these. Just enough to make sure this shouldn't have been stuck. I don't know what all the goo and shmoo is on it for a brand new one, so. Alright, well, we got it apart. Old needle and seat out, new needle and seat. That one seals up tight as soon as I push on that one. And this one just kind of gums. Let's just put a new needle and seat in the thing and see what it does. If you want to, this thing runs at like 6 psi, so you can just simple testing, but unscientific. I don't recommend it very long. Gasoline tastes terrible. Let's see, this should be about like midway, and then this thing should stop. I have to push that all the way up, so I'll spin that down a little bit more. That's bottomed out. Let's start there. Not the most best way to do that.
I don't know if you can tell from all the things on the workbench, I was more than ready to start bending up brand new fuel lines, because these leaks and fuel, we couldn't have those. Now, I was done. Got a hint from one of our tinkerers named Chris. He said, take a piece of Scotch-Brite, go through and polish the inside flanges of all the lines. So I did. Went through, polished them. I actually even cheated a little bit and put a stone on a drill. It's a 400 grit stone. Then went through and did the Scotch-Brite. Made sure they were all buffed, cleaned, and really nice. Then I cleaned them out, and now they're back on here. Then I went and cranked the truck over with no ignition. And float bowl here, we're not overflowing. Float bowl there, we're not overflowing. It's just below the sight glass line. And every one of the fittings are dry, including the one down at the fuel pump. I'm gonna call that a win for the night. Friday night, we're gonna go for attempt number 2 to get this thing idling and running real good before we go and take it to the exhaust shop. This is definitely a community fun thing. I don't know if you noticed, on the first night, we had a few more people show up than even I thought. I knew Troy was coming. I knew Wayne and Jeff were coming. I didn't know that Thomas and John were coming. I'm glad they got to come and hang out. And now on Friday, we're gonna extend the community a little bit more. You know, there is a really great car community, and I know some great people in it. Nick the Van Man's coming, and Nick the Van Man is who we're gonna have do the exhaust on this, because he is a genuine muffler man. He knows how to do it. He's really good at it. And I'm gonna let him put his touch on this. We'll talk more about the exhaust later on. Thank you for watching. Episode 16 is also available because we're having so much fun getting this motor tuned, and I want you all to have this as soon as you get done with this episode. And if you've made it this far, please consider subscribing, because it really helps the channel out. And I hope that you put a comment down below and you tell us something you've tuned up.